thank you so much for coming. I wanted to welcome you to the Zoom, and I'm going to introduce myself and just kind of tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Jamie Keith, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 5 kids and 2 grandkids, and I've been homeschooling my kids for more than 20 years. So a little bit about my story and why I started Plexus. A little more than 2 years ago, I was at my wit's end when it comes to my health. My health was really, really bad, and it was failing fast. About 25 years ago, when I was pregnant with one of my children, my second daughter, I was on high doses of prednisone, of steroids, as part of a medical study, and it completely destroyed my health. I wasn't sick at all, but I had antibodies that were destroying our baby's platelets, and they wanted to see how the immune system affected that. And that whole thing is a long story, but I don't think studies like that are legal now from what I heard. But back then, they put me on very high doses, and it completely destroyed my immune system. It destroyed my health, my thyroid, my brain, my stomach, my kidneys, my liver. It just caused all kinds of problems, and my health went downhill really fast when I was on the steroids, and I had a hard time overcoming all of those health obstacles. And as I got older, as time went on, I just got worse and worse and worse. And I was seeing all kinds of doctors. I was seeing naturopaths, homeopathic doctors, chiropractors, nutritionists. My primary care doctor was amazing, trying to help me. There were specialists that I was going to. I was having surgeries. Sorry about that. That is my son's his Dexcom for his blood sugar, and it is telling me to give him a shot, and I already did, so I was hoping it didn't alarm during this, so I apologize if that was really loud. And I'm going to get to the story about my son in a minute too. So my health has just been deteriorating and getting worse. I was having recurring bladder infections. I was having a blocked kidney and kidney infections, and my candida was out of control. And I was doing all the right things. I was eating healthy. I was drinking plenty of water. I was exercising. I was taking vitamins and probiotics, and everything the doctor gave me, all the medications they gave me, everything they told me to do, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. But my quality of life was just failing miserably. I felt like my ship was sinking, like there was a slow leak, and I was doing all the right things and doing all this stuff, and it wasn't really making a difference in my quality of life. And meanwhile, my youngest son, who was 7 at the time, he has type 1 diabetes. He was diagnosed at age 5, and he also has celiac disease. And the symptoms, even though he was diagnosed at the same time, so he got celiac disease and type 1 diabetes at the same time. And even though he wasn't eating gluten, he still had stomach pain. He also had severe behavior problems that were getting worse and worse as he got older. I tried doing everything right as far as dealing with his behavior problems. He had ADHD, a very severe case of ADHD, ODD, and just anger, and a lot of just acting like he was extremely tired all the time. And we tried everything. We adjusted his diet. We watched what he ate. We tried to be extra patient with him and tried everything. Made sure he went to bed and got the right amount of sleep. I mean, we tried everything, and it was getting worse and worse. And with my health being so bad and having to deal with his diabetes and his behavior problems just wrecking our household, I was at my wit's end, and I just started praying like crazy that God would lead me to vitamins and supplements, because the doctors did everything they could to help me and even my son. And I just was praying that the Lord would lead me. I figured there had to be something out there that was going to help, that we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And I started praying and researching and looking into everything. And I read 4 books on the gut-brain connection. One of my symptoms was real severe memory problems, to the point where I had to be treated for that and look into that. I thought I had Alzheimer's and had to get checked for that. It was so severe, but it was related to my gut health and all the candida that I was having trouble with. My son's A1C goal was 7.5 or lower, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. I homeschool him, so I'm always with him, and I worked really, really hard to get his A1C to 7.5 or lower. And I got it as low as 7.8 or 7.6. It was like, fluctuating between those two. But I was not happy with that, even though the doctors were like, oh, that's great. I'm like, no, you said 7.5 or lower. I'm getting it to 7.5, but I just could not. So I was just praying and praying and praying for help. And I found Plexus totally randomly and suddenly and by accident, and I knew it was from the Lord. I actually thought it was a travel agency that people did on their phone as a home business. And out of pure curiosity and being nosy, I looked into it. Just to see what it was all about. And when I realized what it was, I knew God answered my prayer. So I jumped in with both feet. And I was extremely persistent and consistent, because I'm like, if I'm going to pray and God's going to answer the prayer, then I'm going to do this right. And it's been amazing. God has completely healed me using Plexus. My symptoms have just been, over the years, I'm just getting better and better and better. I don't have the severe candida with the hunger and the cravings and the memory problems and all of that anymore. I don't have any more bladder infections or kidney problems. My liver is a lot happier. My thyroid is a lot happier. The thyroid medicine wasn't even working for me anymore. I still had symptoms and my labs were always off, but that is no more. I had a severe vitamin deficiency. My stomach was not absorbing nutrients or vitamins, even though I was taking a mass amount of vitamins and prescription vitamins. That is all better. My son's behavior problems is fine now, and I'm so relieved. That was like the biggest relief. And I was not expecting it to help his A1C and to balance his blood sugar, even though I know that's what it does. I was like, no, he's type 1, it's totally different. I apologize for that. I was hoping that his blood sugar would be not alarming, and then his stomach pain went completely away. So he's doing so much better. He is just, we're all just doing better. And the longer we're working on our health and taking the supplements, the better we're doing. And I don't even have to go to the doctor every other month like I was having to. And I was always in the emergency room in the hospital and on intensive medication. That is completely done now. So I'm really thankful, and I'm just wanting to get my story out there so that I can help other people, because really all of this is about gut health. And Plexus, that's what they focus on. They focus on gut health and everything that goes along with gut health. Having a healthy gut is really the number one thing for all health. There's over 100 symptoms that are caused by having an imbalance in our gut. And our gut can become imbalanced because of medication, the foods we eat, eating too much sugar, too many antibiotics or even steroids, and there's even over-the-counter medications that can cause a disruption in our gut and cause all kinds of problems. So this is, and it's just our lifestyle and our the environment, and there's some things that are even out of our control. And once that gets disrupted or out of balance, it's very, very difficult to get that back into balance again. But Plexus works really, really hard to focus on that, because when your gut gets out of balance, it causes it kind of causes a ripple effect and a snowball effect. It starts causing inflammation and a hormone imbalance and blood sugar imbalance and all this stuff, and then that just snowballs into more. But this targets gut health, and it heals from the inside out. And I have seen with me and my family just amazing things happen when we get our gut back into balance. I have some tips and tricks that I like to share, because this is not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody is different. This is not medication. These are plant-based products, and it heals from the inside out. And because everybody has different background, different health habits, there's all kinds of, everybody's different. It's not one size fits all, but there are tricks and there are tips into reaching success and to overcome the obstacles. And I had a lot of obstacles to overcome, and so did my son, and we were able to overcome them. And it was pretty much because I knew what to do and I did all the right things. And it's a matter of doing a lot of good things and developing good habits one step at a time. So I'm going to share my tips and my tricks on how to be successful. So the number one thing is mindset. I never realized this at first, but mindset is the number one thing, because we will talk ourselves out of doing the right thing faster than anybody's business, I'll tell you that. And I didn't realize that until I even started my own journey and the things that I said to myself and trying to talk myself out of things and stuff. So educating yourself, mindset are all super important. And that's what I like to do. I like to help people and educate them and kind of point them in the right direction so that you don't end up sabotaging yourself, because sometimes that's what we do. We end up sabotaging ourselves because we don't understand how it works, how the healing process is, and we just tend to quit. And so that's like one of the things that I teach on the most is mindset, education, and keep going. Do not quit, because it's super important. Our health is super, super important. And water. This is another thing, is most of us are chronically dehydrated, and it's so important just for life in general to drink plenty of water. But especially when we're taking these products, it's super important to allow our body to use the products so that we can heal, and it also flushes out the toxins because our bodies tend to build up excess toxins, especially if there's an imbalance and our liver isn't working properly. Things get backed up, and our body is gonna, as it heals, start flushing out those toxins, and water is super, super important. And I like to say, just kind of a guideline, they recommend, the experts recommend drinking half of your body weight in ounces, but I like to say like 32 ounces between breakfast and lunch, 32 ounces between lunch and dinner, and 32 between dinner and bedtime, and that's what I use. That's the guideline, and that's just perfect for me. So sorry. It takes a while for it to catch up on when I gave him a shot, and it's taken a while. All right, so another thing I wanted to talk about was some mindset, water. When you start the products, it's super important to start slowly. And this is the one thing that trips people up, because sometimes people will forget to take the products because they're not in the habit, or they will go too quickly. In the beginning, you want to start slow. You want to help your body get acquainted with the products, get used to taking them, but also you want to get used to the healing process. Your body's going to be healing, getting back into balance, flushing out toxins. There's a lot going on the inside, and even if you don't feel anything at first, just in your health, there's a lot going on, and that has to go through the process first before you start feeling things. And everyone's different on how soon they start feeling results. Most of the time, people notice the two things that I hear the most that people notice right away. Usually the first thing is they have more energy and they're not hungry and craving things. So usually that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's going to feel that way. So just remember, there's a lot going on the inside, and you have to take it slow, slowly work your way up. It is super important for you to listen to your sponsor, whether that's me or somebody else. Walk alongside them. You can even message us every single day and just say, hey, I took my pink drink, or hey, I felt this or that. Detox, we all go through detox. Detox is natural. Detox is what we're supposed to do. That's how our bodies are designed to work. But when things get out of balance, we get backed up. Our system gets backed up, and then our body wants to flush out the toxins once it starts healing. You do not want to do that too quickly just because it's miserable. So you want to take it slow so that your body can have time to slowly detox all the excess toxins. So let me look at my list here. Sorry about that. So mindset is super important. That is the most important thing. And drinking plenty of water. Start slow on the products, and don't forget to take the products. You need to stay consistent. I mean, life happens, and every now and then things come up and we forget, or we have a bad day, or we run out of products or whatever. That happens. But for the general idea, if you can stay consistent as much as you can, that will make a big difference. And another thing that I do is I max out all the products. For the slim, they recommend 1 to 2, taking 1 to 2 a day. And I slowly worked myself up to where I was taking 2 again a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon or evening. And then the ProBio 5, they recommend taking 2 to 4. And I maxed that out too. I took 4, and because of my gut health and my candida was so severe, I went up to 3, where I was taking 3 in the morning and 3 at bedtime. It's best to take, if you can, the ProBio 5 at bedtime. And you can start with 1 and then slowly work up to 2 and all the way up to 4. And you can take 4 at bedtime, or you can divide it. A lot of times it's just kind of troubleshooting and seeing what works well for you, what works best for you. And again, you can always talk to me or your sponsor and see, the best way to take your products. And I took every advantage of all the tools that Plexus has to offer as far as the products, and I kind of troubleshot how we did best. And a lot of times it was like by accident. I would forget to give my son in the morning, so I'd give it to him in the evening instead, and I'm like, oh well, I like the evening better anyway. Just stay consistent and don't be afraid to max out the doses, because that's what really helped me and my son. And he's 10 now, but he was 7 at the time, and that really helped us too. And another thing is, don't do this alone. Always keep in touch with your sponsor or your friend who's doing this with you. Invite friends to do this with you. It is so much fun to do this together with friends, and they may have different goals or they may have the same goals, whether it's whether it's weight loss or overcoming health obstacles or whatever it is. It's so much more fun to do this with a friend. So invite people to do this with you. I'm going to be talking about that more later, because there is actually really good specials and incentives, and specials going on for friends, but then incentives for people who are helping your friends order. So I'm going to go over a little bit more of that later. So one thing I wanted to talk about is, there's a lot of noises, and I apologize for that. All the alarms are alarming. Don't quit on your health. Your health is so important. And a lot of times people want to rush results, and I totally get that, because I was actually the exact same way. I just wanted to, my whole thing was, I don't want another bladder infection. I had so many bladder infections, and I was resistant to antibiotics, and all the medication, everything stopped working for me. And my bladder infections were getting so bad that it was making me sicker and sicker, to the point where the very last bladder infection that I had, my husband almost had to call an ambulance. I'd have to go to the emergency room. It was just because I had 6 years worth of bladder infections, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. So I was just like, I just don't want another bladder infection. So the temptation is real to rush the healing process, but it takes time. There's a lot of years worth of healing that has to be done, and so it's so important to be patient, to put your health first, to make this a priority, and to keep going. A lot of times we'll want to talk ourselves out of it. Oh, I don't want to spend the money, or I don't want to take the time, or what if it doesn't work? Don't do that. Your health is important. It's important to you, and it's important to your family. So put your health first. Do not quit on your health. And I'm going to talk a little bit too about how I'm able to afford the products. So one of the things that I do is, I've always had my vitamins and supplements as part of our grocery budget, and I take advantage of every single thing that Plexus has to offer. If there's free shipping or there's free products, you can get perks for free products, cash back for referrals. I just try to max out and take advantage of every single opportunity. If they give free products if you have your subscription set, which is the auto ship, and I take advantage of that. And the auto ship is easier anyway, because it automatically ships, and I tell it when to ship, and I tell them what to ship, and I just set it up and then let them worry about it, so I don't have to run out of products and go, oh no, I need to order. It automatically does it when I tell it to. I get free products with that. In fact, when I looked, I had over 1,700 Plexus perks, and I thought I just used them. And so I was able to get free Joyome, which is the skincare products that helps the microbiome in your skin, like gut health for the skin. And I was able to get 2 bottles of those for free because of my subscription. So I just take advantage of all of that, which really, really helps with affording the products. And the products are on sale right now. There's 10% off the welcome packs. There's $10 membership. If you buy the membership and a welcome pack, you will get wholesale prices on all the products. If you share with family and friends, you will get compensated for that because they pay very generously for referrals. Right now, if you help 3 people or 6 people, like in groups of 3, people order a welcome pack, which is on sale, and the membership is on sale right now, you will get an extra $100. So if you get help 3 people order a welcome pack, you will get a $100 bonus for ranking the first rank, which is silver, and you will get an extra one for their bonus. Plus, you get paid for each order that is placed. So if you do that with get 3 more and you get 6, and you get an extra $250 bonus on top of all of that. So that is a way. It doesn't mean you're doing it as a business. It just means you're referring your family and friends, and they are compensating extra. They're already generous, but now they're having extra compensation for that. So that is a huge deal, and I think this is the last month they're going to be doing it. So take advantage of every opportunity that is out there, and I'm happy to help any way that I can. And the easiest way to share is to put a post on Facebook. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable or weird. You can make it really fun and creative and say, who wants to do this with me? Let's do this together. Especially with summer here, and people really, they're more focused on their weight and their health in the summertime. So, and I'm totally happy to help you with that. So this is just one day at a time, one step at a time, and there's this does not replace diet or exercise. This helps you to be able to make healthier habits, to watch what you eat, and I apologize for that. It helps you to watch what you eat. It helps you to make better habits, and I found that when I am on Plexus, because I've done the Whole30 diet, I've done exercising, I've always drank plenty of water, it did not really help, and it was very hard to do until Plexus. Plexus just fills in the gap. It supplements what I'm doing and makes it easier to do it. It makes it easier to do it, and it makes the results better. So this, some people may think, oh good, I'm going to do this and then I can just eat whatever I want. No, it just helps you to make healthier habits and make better decisions in your life. So there's always room for improvement. So I want to encourage you to keep going and don't quit, and one day at a time, one step at a time. And just like when you start slow with the products, you start one thing at a time, very slow, and you slowly increase. And it's the same thing with changing your habits, your eating habits, or if you stop drinking soda or energy drinks or whatever. So it's just one thing at a time, one step at a time. So you don't want to rush it. You don't want to be discouraged. You want to be encouraged. So I am going to finish up. I do want to highlight some products. The Triplex is my all-time favorite. That's the one we started with. At the time, we really didn't have a choice. That was all we had to start with. Now there's a lot of options. There's a lot of welcome packs to choose from, and a lot of them, you can get just the Triplex in a welcome pack, or there's other welcome packs that have the Triplex in it. So you really can't go wrong. We have a lot of weight loss products that work really well with the Triplex. There's Lean Shakes, which is very clean, high protein meal replacement shakes. That's very, very delicious. And we have MetaBurn, which helps with mood, and it helps with energy, and it helps with weight loss too, which is really, really popular. It's a capsule. There's also Active, which is a powder you mix with water, which is amazing. I just love it. It helps with mental clarity, it helps with energy, and it just keeps my brain working perfectly. And I mix that in with my Slim. There's 2 different kinds of Slim. There's Hunger Control Slim, which helps with that extra tough hunger and cravings. And then there's Microbiome Activating Slim, which helps with the gut health. It has a prebiotic in it for gut health. So I'm gonna finish this up so it doesn't just cut off on me. But there we have all of our gut health products focuses on things that is affected by gut health, including our mental health, our brain space, anxiety, depression, chronic stress. All of that has to do with the gut, and we can do all the right things, but if our gut is out of balance and it's not healing correctly, we're not going to make it anywhere. It's like hitting a brick wall. And our products are full of nutrition and it's highly absorbable. So you cannot go wrong. Even if you have no symptoms at all and your weight is perfect and everything is right, you can still take the products because it helps with nutrition. You're pouring nutrition into your body, and we all need that. Everybody does. And I like to think of it as like going down on the freeway. My daughter was going on the freeway in the middle lane, just all of a sudden cars just started crash, 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 and there's a pile up and she's driving. And I feel like that's how it is. It could be sudden. If we're not taking care of our health and we're not intentional, that we can be cruising along in life and then all of a sudden there's a pile up. It happens like that. And when you're taking care of yourself and you're supplementing to fill in the gaps, because our foods are depleted and we can't get everything we need, but these supplements fill in the gaps, and then we can give us a better tomorrow. The better we do today, the better our tomorrow will be. So anyway, I hope that's helpful and I hope that's a blessing.